All right, Coach, we'll start with an opening statement, then take questions.
Well, it's some kind of game. First of all, I just want to give credit to Lance Leipold and his staff. What a great job they did in this game. It was a hard-fought game, and they're getting better and better every time I see them play. And we've seen them the last 2 years in a row, and they just did a super job. It was the first half hitting those big plays against us, and you know it's one thing to hit a big play, but to take a shot like that, if it falls incomplete, you got a long yardage play the next time around, and you know, credit them, they hit some and set up some scores for them, and the long run by the quarterback, and I thought we'd run him down, and that tells you what kind of player he is. He was able to outrun everybody on the defense, so you know, they really did a great job, particularly in the first half, and out-coached us. I mean, I felt you know, like they were better prepared. Not I don't mean emotionally. They were executing better, and we were able to kind of settle down as the second half got going. We didn't do a great job getting the ball back in the second half. We didn't score. We had a 3-and-out upon it, and what we didn't do that we did do in the first half was we didn't give up big plays on defense. We didn't have negative yardage plays on offense. We didn't have foolish penalties, which we did in the first half, a 15-yarder, a line up off sides on defense, false start on offense, delay a game, and just foolish penalties. We played better fundamentally, and we just gutted it out. And I'm really proud of our team and the effort they put in the second half, and particularly in the fourth quarter, to find a way to win the game. So it was a hard-fought game, and all credit to our players for executing the plan the second half, and really I commend Buffalo's team. I'm sure they're going to win a lot of games, and I hope they do. I think they got a great staff, and I thought they were a great bunch of kids. They competed hard, and they were very gracious, in defeat. So it was a hard-fought game. I thought it was a good rivalry right there.
Go ahead, Ken.
And Coach, just certainly the defense was struggling in the first half, gave up a couple of big plays, but then really changed and really got the ball back for you when you needed it in the third quarter. Just talk about that, how they made that transition.
They just did a really good job stopping the run, and I think that was the key to the game. Buffalo had 117 yards rushing in the first half and finished with 119. And I think that was the difference in the game, not allowing them to run the ball. The long run by the quarterback was a big play, and they were handing off to the running back, and ran a little stretch play. He was cutting it back and finding the seam in there, and they did a good job of that in the first half, and we just did a better job defending in the second half. And I thought that was the difference, and our ability to run the ball and sustain drives and not have to punt. But we did to start the second half. We did a good job scoring on the drives when we had it after that.
And Ahmad got the first touchdown on a long run, but then struggled through the second quarter. What adjustments? He really came alive, and the offense came alive late in the third quarter when you got the ball back, and then through the fourth.
We just did a better job of blocking. I don't think it was anything more than that. Schematically, I thought their coaches did a great job against us in preparing their kids, and had guys in position. They defeated a lot of blocks on the perimeter, and they were getting some good knockback against us on the inside, which is something we take a lot of pride in as an offense. And I know that hurts our kids to feel like they're not winning the one-on-one battle. And just as the game went along, we did a much better job of both of those things. So I think that was the difference in the second half.
You had kind of a mix of your running backs with Davidson, but then also carrying a lot, quite often Bradshaw, and then also you got Holton running the ball as well. Tell us a little bit about kind of that mix of your running backs.
I think all those guys, and including Connor Slaughter, I think all those guys are very capable running backs, and we're comfortable handing any one of them the ball. I mean, Andy rushed for a lot of yards for us last year, he's perfectly capable of carrying the ball for us and doing a great job. Darnell just, I thought, really played a good game, fought really hard. He had a stomach bug or the flu or something starting on, I guess it was Thursday. He didn't come to practice, and we sent him down to his room and let him rest. Friday, we took him to the team hotel and just let him rest. We didn't have him go through the walkthroughs or the meetings or anything. We just wanted to get him healthy. He felt better this morning, and I know he was gassed. He came out a couple times there in the second half, and we'd been handing it to him. And, he was just the tank was empty. But I give him credit for going back in there on that fourth down play and scoring. He pushed the pile, and it was a nice game for him.
Go ahead, John, in the back.
Coach, I know when we talked a couple of weeks ago about that Mayweather McGregor fight, you said you weren't much of a betting man, but you looked like a bit of a gambler today in this one with the fourth down play at the goal line, and of course the punt that sealed the drive.
Well, the fourth down play at the goal line, I don't know if that's a real gamble. I mean, it's 1 yard. If you can't go that far, then you don't deserve to win. We're a running team. That's what we do, and we practice. And if we can't move the ball that far, then they probably ought to win the game. So I had confidence that our guys cared enough that we'd find a way to get it in. And it wasn't like we mowed them into the back of the end zone. Their kids were playing hard and fighting. And I can't say enough for Lance and the job he's doing there. That guy has won a lot of football games, a lot more than I have. And the culture he's building and the way they played today, I mean, they fought all the way, and that play wasn't easy. But we got it across, and I was glad. And then, I heard Nick talking about the fake punt, and it's not something that is always going to be an option. I fully assume he might go out there and kick the ball if they had us leveraged. And Scott Washley had a great block to seal the edge, and it opened up. And as he said, I just saw it open up, and I saw the first down marker and thought I could make it to the first down marker. He did. He did a great job protecting the ball.
Do you have any hesitation to call either of those plays?
No.
What's that say about the confidence you have in your line and the guys making decisions on the field?
My belief is that if we do a good job coaching our guys to play with good fundamentals, the techniques and all that it takes to be a good blocker, a good tackler, a good ball carrier, a good kicker, whatever their role is on the team. It's our job as coaches to teach them how to do that and do it well enough that they can execute it on Saturdays. And if I don't think a guy is a good enough blocker or a good enough tackler or good enough at his job, he's going to be standing over the sideline with me. And we don't have a bunch of really good players. We just got a bunch of guys that try really hard. They're tough and care, and they try to do it right. They don't do it right all the time. And that's apparent when you watch the film. But you can't just say, well, I don't think we can make a play, and I don't think this guy is good enough to execute this fundamental. You got to teach them and put them in there and let them do it. And if it doesn't work, it's not their fault. They're trying. They do the best they can. So I believe in our kids, and I'm going to give them a chance. And I think that we've got to play that way at Army. I don't think we can play it safe. I think we got to take some chances and let it all hang out. I want them to play with that kind of attitude and effort. So I feel like I need to coach that way too.
Thank you.
How much does being in a tough game like this against Buffalo maybe help you next week for the challenge you have against Ohio State?
I just think being in a situation like that where there's adversity and overcoming it is good for a football team. It's good for any organization. It's good for a family. It's good for a company. When you have adversity, you face that, you overcome it together. That builds confidence and it builds team spirit and builds trust. And it was important that we found a way to win the game today. I think it's just going to help us as we go through the season. There's going to be other adversities. There's going to be other games where we find ourselves behind or in a tough situation, our backs against the wall. So I talked to the team about that at halftime. That's what we were facing. I talked to them about it in the locker room after the game, just overcoming that. So helps for next week, but there will be times, during that game, during other games, and down the road in the season, that we'll need to overcome some tough times. And Ohio State's a good enough team that they can put a lot of people with their backs to the wall and put a lot of people in adverse situations. So, we're going to prepare ourselves to just play the best that we can, and hopefully that'll be good enough.
How good do you feel for a guy like Shrek who's had some struggles, and to come up with a play that, seals the game for you guys?
It was a big play, and I'm really proud of him. It was a great decision. As much grief as he's taken over the poor decision last year against Lafayette on 4th and 44, that was a great decision, and I'm happy for him. His job is to punt the ball and kick the ball, and he had a great kickoff, the last kickoff, and put it through the end zone to not allow him to have a chance to return it. But he knows what his role is, and he's like the rest of the guys. He cares, and fundamentally he's got to do a little better than he did today.
Coach, just go back to that moment in the third quarter when Buffalo is driving and you're down 17-7, and the defense, just one player after another, made big plays between Christensen, Ackerman, McClinton, and McLean in that sequence. Just how is it to watch the players perform and make those big plays?
Relieving, knowing we're going to get the ball back and they're not going to score. Because if they scored again, we were going to be in trouble. So, the defense did a great job. Jay and the defensive staff, Coach Corliss, Coach Will, Coach Dixon, Coach CY, Coach Luce, did an unbelievable job having those guys ready to play a great second half. And our kids executed, and really proud of them. Fun to watch.
Coach, you've won 5 in a row now, and you came from behind today to win. Is that kind of example of the leadership and the expectation to win that the team is building?
Well, I don't know. I don't know if that's why we're able to win today. I think there's just a belief in our team, an overall feeling that we're supposed to win the game. We're supposed to find ways to make enough plays, and we got great leadership. I thought we had really strong leadership a year ago, and I think it's just something that's been building in our program. Just the ability to be able to make plays, to overcome the times where you're facing adversity, and it's not one guy. It's not just the captains. It's not the seniors. I think it's just everybody. It's everybody in the locker room, the staff, the players. I think the belief and the trust is we're supposed to win, and by gosh, we're going to find a way.
Coach, just last week we talked for a moment about folks in Houston. Now we got a situation in Florida. I'm just wondering about any player families in the area, and I'm sure you know lots of coaches and their families in the area. What are you hearing?
Well, I haven't tracked the storm, every moment, but I saw where it was bearing down on the state of Florida, which my wife's Beth, her hometown is New Smyrna Beach, and there was some expectations that it may really affect them and her parents, my in-laws Don and Jimmy, and Beth's sister, the Davises up in Jacksonville. All of them, they're ready for the worst, but we're praying for all those folks down there. We've got several guys from the Miami area, South Florida, that have had to evacuate, kind of board up and move and get out of the evacuation zone, and it's scary. It's scary for a family, and it's scary for a kid to know that his family's on the move, and where they're going to be, and if they're going to be safe, and he's here. And so we've talked to all of our guys, and everybody seems to be in a pretty good place right now. But we're certainly praying for everybody down there. We've got a lot of friends down there in Georgia and places like that are kind of in the way of it. So we're hoping for the best for everybody. Hope that thing puts the brakes on.
All right, thanks.